Good morning, beautiful wives. We are here for day 13. Wife after God, drawing closer to God and to your husband. So, today's devotional is called Coated in Pride. And I find it interesting that most of the scriptures, with the exception of Matthew 5:5, all of the other scriptures are from Proverbs, and like I was talking on last devotional, right? I don't see things as coincidence, right? And whether this was mentioned here or not, it doesn't matter. But I really do believe that godly wisdom is the antidote for pride, right? So today's devotional is about pride and letting go of pride, and just searching our hearts to see if there are any places of pride. And yet all of the scriptures are in Proverbs, which is the book of godly wisdom, right? Earthly wisdom is rooted in pride, and I think that it's important for us to understand that a lot of times, we have the gift of wisdom. Obviously, we're children of God, made in His image, and that wisdom manifests itself in a very earthly way, right? And earthly wisdom is rooted in pride, and we can be easily deceived when we are not so aware of the difference between earthly wisdom and godly wisdom, because earthly wisdom can be very wise, yeah, but it's rooted in pride. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out before we begin. And I'm going to read some of the scriptures with you guys, or maybe all of them. Let's see. Proverbs 8:13 is the first one. It says, all who fear the Lord will hate evil. Therefore, I hate pride and arrogance, corruption and perverse speech. And quick reminder that it's the fear of God that keeps us from sinning, and pride is a sin, right? Pride is going against who God is, right? So I think it's worth mentioning that. All right, so next one is Proverbs 11:22. Let's go a couple of chapters. I'm not at home, so I don't have the little thing that holds my phone Bible for me. So it's more uncomfortable for me to read. So thank you for bearing with me. All right, Proverbs 11:2. Pride leads to disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. All right, next one is Proverbs 13, verse 10. Pride leads to conflict. Those who take advice are wise. And then Proverbs 16, verse 18. Pride goes before destruction and haughtiness before a fall. And then let's go to the New Testament for Matthew 5:5. All right. God blesses those who are humble, for they will inherit the whole earth. I love the scriptures today. And there is something here that she says that really caught my attention. She says, with the distance between them growing, anger fueled their pride. I think it's important for us to know when we act in pride, the way that she puts here, she says their hearts were coated in pride, right? It doesn't mean that they are pride. It means that in that moment, they're acting in pride, right? So what is feeling that pride? Is it anger? Is it distance? Is it, indifference, right? I think that sometimes pride can be filled with indifference, right? So different things fuel our pride. Well, let me rephrase that. Different things fuel the pride that's coming against us. It's not ours, right? So I think it's important for us to observe that, so that we don't allow it to be filled, right? Neither of them wanted to surrender. So surrender is an antidote as well, right? Neither of them would forsake the argument for the sake of the other, and their focus was not love. All right, so next, she talks about acting in pride is dangerous because its goal, meaning pride's goal, is self preservation, not love. So I think that this is very powerful for us to understand because it is not uncommon for us human to act in a way that's trying to preserve ourselves, right? Trying to preserve ourselves from getting hurt, trying to preserve ourselves from whatever, right? We want to be right. It's a very human thing, right? But we need to remind ourselves that we're not merely human. We are supernatural beings because we have the nature of Christ, right? So letting go of your pride is like removing a coat. I love this analogy because I'm in Germany and it's super cold, right? And it's an analogy that perhaps at home I cannot relate so well because we don't have cold to wear coats. But here there is cold to wear coats, and I know that some of you are in colder temperature than Miami, and you wear coats, but as soon as you get into a place, you take your coat off. Why? Because there is heat in the room, right? So I think this is such a beautiful analogy because as soon as you take your coat off, even though the heat is on, you're still feeling for me at least, right? Because I tend to feel cold, so I still feel the cold that came from outside, so it takes a minute for my body to get adjusted to the fact that the heater is on and it's not cold anymore, and it's okay to have the coat off, right? Because now I am more vulnerable to the environment, right? Meaning my body is uncovered from the heat that coat brings, So I think it's such a good analogy because that's pretty much what happens, right? It's like taking off a coat, and you hang it, and it's like, okay, let me get accustomed to this new environment here, let me get accustomed to the temperature in the room so that my mind understands that my body no longer needs that coat, right? So it's almost like an exercise, right, that we do when we take off our pride, when we take off pride that comes against us, really, and hang it, and it's like it takes a minute to get accustomed to what it feels like to be that vulnerable, because a lot of times we use pride as like it says here, right, as self-preservation. We try to protect our hearts with pride instead of allowing God, and partner with him in really truly guarding our hearts, So anyways, that was that for today. And then she has the prayer, and the challenge is, if you have been prideful about something specific in your marriage, let it go and see what happens. Take out the coat, hang it up, and see what happens. So questions for the day. Have you experienced pride in your heart and then experienced a fall in your relationship with your husband because of it? Number 2, what is one thing you have been very prideful about recently, and what do you feel God is calling you to do about it? And number 3, how does aligning your heart with God's heart help you to respond to situations without pride? All right, so great questions for us to meditate on, and just take some time to think about it and dwell on it with God. And I would love to hear some of you and what your thoughts are about all of this. Please share it on our group. Our group is on the description. The Wives at ABLAZE WhatsApp group. I love you, and I'll see you soon for day 14.